Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I scooch my way back to my mat. Um, hello. The weekend is here. We survived. We made it. Um, thank you all for rolling out your mats and extra sleep in nap time this morning. Please feel free to do that. Um, just making sure. Oh, good morning, Pam. Good morning, Karen. Hello, Danny. So just making sure that you're doing what you need this morning, letting anything else go and not getting too weighed down with making everything happen. We're gonna do a little bit more repetitive movement this morning just to really get into our breath and into our body to kind of start the weekend. So with that, we're gonna get started laying down flat on our back. So just kind of settling into a nice comfy space. And you can just take kind of a big, giant king bed to yourself shape. So letting the legs come out to the side a little bit, letting the arms fall out to the side. If you want to feel a little more connected to the breath, then you can also bring a hand to heart and a hand to the belly as an option as well. So just taking some time to settle in, creating some stillness, some quiet. And just starting with that little bit of awareness around how you're feeling, where the mind is at, and how the breath is moving through the body. Taking some time here to maybe recognize things that you're needing from this practice today. Whether it's space or movement, or just time to pause and breathe and be still. And then just starting to bring a little more awareness around the breath and how it's moving in the body. Whether it's a struggle to get nice full breaths or if it's happening very easily and comfortably. And then just slowly and gently bringing more intention to the breath. Maybe at the top of your inhale, you start with a count, counting to 4 or 5. And then at the top of your exhale, starting that count over, finding that same number. Just using this time to let that breath, that even inhale, even exhale, settle into the body. Allowing the inhale to create space in those areas or like they're just kind of being held up or not being able to move freely. Seeing if you can breathe a little extra room into those areas. Spending just a couple more breaths here, getting familiar with this breath, maybe allowing an intention to settle for your practice. This morning, I offer the intention of just being present and taking things nice and slow. So, really being able to connect the feet to the ground, connect the poses to one another, connect the movement with your breath, and just taking time to let all those things happen naturally and easily. getting really long here, reaching through the toes and the fingertips, maybe reaching a little longer through one side and then the other. And then we'll start to hug knees in towards the chest. So hugging them in, you can find a little movement. And then we're going to bring feet down to the mat, planting them about hip width distance here, scooching the heels in towards the bum. Hands are going to come down at our sides with palms facing up towards the sky. And a little external rotation of those shoulders here, pressing the shoulders down towards the mat. We're going to find a little movement with our breath. So as we inhale, pressing into the feet, lifting the hips any amount. And then exhale is going to bring those hips right back down to the ground. Taking it nice and slow. We're going to move through this a few times. Inhale to find that lift. Exhale to find that lower. Taking your time. For the last couple rounds here, if you want a little more, as you inhale and lift the hips, maybe the arms start to reach up and back. And then exhale brings those hips and hands right back down to the mat. So moving through this a couple times. Inhale to find that lift of the hips and the arms reaching back. And then lowering them right back down. Feeling that connection of movement and breath. One more time, lifting up, lowering it down. We're going to hug the right knee in towards the chest here. Hugging it in tight, keeping that left foot firmly planted. And then we're going to move hands to the back of the right thigh and then just pressing that foot up towards the sky. So getting really long through the heel, toes are coming back towards the face, finding that little bit of hamstring stretch here. Couple more breaths. If you're wanting a little bit of release to that front left hip, maybe you reach that left leg nice and long. If you get there and it just doesn't feel nice, then just bend that knee and bring it right back in. If that left leg is lengthened, just bending the knee, bringing it back, hugging that right knee in towards the chest again, bringing it down to meet the other. Left knee hugs in, pausing here for a moment, feeling that connection of the back to the mat. And then we'll move those hands to the back of the left thigh, pressing that foot up towards the sky. Feeling that length, feeling that stretch. You can stay here, or maybe you reach that right leg nice and long. Again, option to bring it back in if it doesn't feel nice. And if that right leg is long, bending that knee, planting the foot, hugging that left knee back in towards the heart. We're just going to bring the left ankle over the right knee, finding that kind of fix the thighs, pressing the thighs away from the body, finding a little release for that low back, low belly area. And then we'll gently just release that. Arms can come out to the sides. We'll just start to find a little bit of sway side to side with the legs here. And you can keep this sway going if that feels good, keeping it easy. If you want to come into that full twist, the next time that that left foot comes down towards the ground, just allowing everything to drop over. Shoulders are still pressing down towards the mat. Feeling that. We'll bring it right back up to center. Bringing that left foot down to meet the right. And then that right ankle is just going to cross over that left knee. So same thing, we're going to bring the palms of the hands to the tops of the thighs, just gently pressing the thighs away from the body, finding a little bit of release here. Creating a little bit of space. And then we'll gently let that go. Hands are going to come out to the sides again, starting to find that little bit of sway. Keeping it nice and gentle. If you want that twist, as that right foot comes down, maybe you settle, or maybe you just keep that little bit of movement happening here. We'll bring the knees right back to center, hugging the knees in towards the chest here. Starting to find a little forward and back rocking. We're going to come all the way up and over into our table. So getting set up, wrists below shoulders, knees below the hips. We're going to take a couple rounds of cat-cow here. So inhale, drops the belly, lifts the heart. Exhale, rounding the back, pressing away. Through the pace of your own breath. Pausing when you need to pause. Two more rounds of cat-cow here. We'll come to meet in our table. Nice flat back, crown of the head's reaching forward. Little hug in of belly button to spine. We're going to move through a little bit of fluid movement in a few shapes here. So inhale, we're going to drop the belly, lift the heart, finding that cow pose. Exhale, rounds into cat. As we press the hips back, coming into child's pose, just for a moment. And then we're going to roll back forward through table into cow, tucking the toes, lifting hips, down dog. Rolling up on the tiptoes, knees are going to come back down to the mat. Dropping the belly, lifting the heart, rounding the back, pressing back into child's pose. Moving back through our table into cow, tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. We're going to move through this 2 more times, just like that. So lifting up on the tiptoes, knees come down. Dropping the belly, finding cow. Rounding the back into cat, dropping into our child's pose. Moving through table into cow. Tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. One more time. Knees are going to come down. Dropping the belly. Rounding through cat as you drop into child's pose. Rolling back forward. Dropping the belly, tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. We're going to breathe here for a couple breaths. Bending into the knees. Finding any little bits of movement that you need to kind of wake up the body in this shape. We're going to take a nice deep bend to the knees, forward between the hands, just taking a little stroll feet to hands, hands to feet, forward fold. With our inhale, reaching up, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands, heart center. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to move through that a couple times here. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift, nice flat back. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, just like that. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift, hands to shins or tops of thighs. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll start to add on here just a little bit. Inhale, nice big reach. Finding our fold. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Right foot stays, left foot steps back. We're going to plant that back heel. Coming on up, warrior one. Settling in for a full inhale, full exhale. One more breath here. Hands are going to come down around the foot. Any way you want to get there, we're stepping it back. Down dog. With our inhale, rolling forward, finding plank. We're going to drop the knees this first round. Heart pulls forward, elbows bend straight back as we lower. Untucking those toes. Big shrug of the shoulders, baby cobra. Rolling right back down. Pressing back to table. Tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. If it makes sense, left foot reaches up and back. Stepping it forward. Planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. Settling in here. Hands are going to come down around the foot, bringing that back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Hands to heart center. Same thing, just foot will stay, right foot steps back, planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. Feeling solid in the feet, pressing actively through that back foot, lengthening through the upper body. Hands are going to come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. We'll inhale forward, finding that plank. Knees can stay lifted or you can drop them again. Heart pulls forward, elbows bend straight back. And you can keep that nice low cobra, or if it makes sense, maybe you press up any amount more. If it makes sense, right foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward. Planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. Settling in for a breath here. feeling solid and strong. Hands come down around the foot. We're just going to step that back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Hands to heart center. So pausing here for a moment. Checking in with the balance. You're at home in your living room, so if you need to use the help of a wall, that's an option. No one can see you. You do you. We're going to start to set that left foot down as we set into just a tiny little moment of chair pose. Wouldn't it be Saturday if there wasn't chair pose? And we're going to shift weight over to that left foot. Right knee is coming up towards the heart. Settling into that balance again. Feeling solid and strong. We're going to set that right foot down, shifting over through a little moment of chair into that right foot. Left knee comes up. And then we're going to start to send that left foot back behind us, planting that back heel, reaching up, warrior one. Pausing here for a breath. And then we're going to open it up, warrior two. So settling in for a moment, checking in with the legs here. Front heel, back arch alignment. Arms are reaching nice and long. If you feel like your shoulders have crept up to your ears, just drop them down a little. We're going to inhale and lift. Warrior two. One more time, inhale and lift. Warrior two. Forearm to thigh, extended side angle. That top arm can reach straight up. Maybe you start to reach it forward. Coming right back up, warrior two. And we're going to just flip it, finding our reverse. Coming back, warrior two. Hands come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. You have the option to stay here. You can come to table or child's pose. If you want to move through that vinyasa, you're finding that plank. Knees up or down. Any amount of back bend. And then we'll all come to meet in our down dog. Nice deep bend to the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward, forward fold. With our inhale, reaching up, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands, heart. Shifting weight into that left foot, right knee comes up. Finding that moment of balance. Feeling really tall here. We're going to start to set that foot down as we settle into tiny moment of chair. You're in charge of what your chair looks like. Doesn't have to be crazy. And then shifting weight to the right, bringing that left knee up. One more time. Tiny moment of chair pose. And then standing up on that left leg, right knee comes up to the heart. We're going to start to send that foot back behind us, planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. And then just opening it up, warrior two. So same thing here, checking in with the feet, front heel, back arch alignment, making sure those shoulders are dropped down a little here. Inhale, straightens that front leg, arms reach up. Warrior two. Inhale to lift. Warrior two. Forearm to thigh. Bringing it back, warrior two. Hands are gonna come down around the foot. We're just gonna step that back foot forward, forward fold. Nice deep bend to the knees here. Maybe you grab opposite elbows, find a little sway, a little movement side to side. With our inhale, nice big reach. Inhale, arms reach up. Hands to heart. Shifting weight into that left foot, right knee comes up. No chair pose torture this round. Finding a little moment of balance. And then we're sending that foot back behind. Stepping into that. Opening it up. Settling in for a breath. Feeling solid through the feet and the legs. Inhale to straighten. Warrior two. One more time, just like that. Warrior two. Forearm to thigh, finding that. Bringing it back, warrior two. Hands come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. 5 breaths, your choice. Maybe you find that vinyasa. Maybe you drop to table or child's pose. Finding the version that you need to check in with the breath, check in with the body. We'll all come to meet in our down dog. Nice deep bend to the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward. Forward fold. Inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Shifting weight into that right foot, left knee comes up. Finding the balance. Feeling steady here. We're going to start to send that foot back behind us, stepping into that warrior one. Nice big reach. And then we're opening it up, warrior two. Settling in for a breath. Checking in with all those areas in this shape. Inhale to straighten. Warrior two. One more time, lifting up. Warrior two. Bringing it back, finding our reverse. Hands come down around that foot. We're going to step it back into our down dog. Finding that vinyasa or that movement, dropping to table. We're all going to come to meet in child's pose. So taking the movement that you need and then settling in to the stillness, settling back into the breath. Checking in with the body, checking in with the breath. Coming back to that intention or that focus. Starting to press into the hands, tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. Bending the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach up. Hands to heart. Shifting weight into the right foot, left knee's coming up. Pausing here for a moment. Finding that strength and balance. We're going to take where you want this to live. Hands can stay at heart center. Maybe you grow your branches. Feeling that lift and length through the whole body here. Wherever you're at, hands come back to heart. Bringing that knee back forward, both feet on the ground. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands to heart. Shifting weight into that left foot, right knee comes up. And then same thing. Maybe you find that stand, bringing the foot to the calf or the thigh. Feeling that length and lift through the whole body here, hugging that left hip in a little. Hands can stay at heart, or you can grow your branches. Always, if you fall out, just find it again. Sometimes trees get blown around in the wind, and that's okay. One more breath wherever you're at. Hands are going to come back to heart. Bringing that knee back forward, both feet on the ground. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Right foot stays, left foot steps back. Planting that back heel, coming on up. Warrior one. We've been here before. Settling in for a breath. And then we're opening it up, warrior two. We're going to bring hands to the hips for a moment. So we're going to move through a few shapes side to side. We're going to start with hands on the hips. Then we can add some arm movement in if you're feeling it. If you're not feeling it, then just hands can stay at hips. You can bring hands to heart center, either option. So from our warrior two, we're going to start to straighten that front knee. Toes are going to turn forward. Both toes angle out as you settle into this little moment of horse or goddess pose. Just for a moment. And then we're going to start to lift and straighten, turning those toes, settling back into warrior two, but on the other side. So we're going to move through this nice and slow for a couple rounds here. So still keeping the heart nice and open in this warrior two shape. Finding that lift up, angling those toes out, settling in to our horse or goddess pose. Lifting up, turning those toes, warrior two. We're going to move through that one more time, just like we did. Straightening up, finding that goddess pose, lifting up, warrior two. One more time, back to where we started. Just getting those leg muscles feeling things this morning. Warrior two. We're going to straighten that front knee, reaching up with the arms, letting everything kind of stretch out here, and then bringing it back, warrior two. So we're going to move through that again. You have the option of doing it nice and slow, just like we practiced. If you want a little extra challenge, the challenge would be to stay as low as you are in your warrior two as you start to transition to your goddess or horse pose as you move to warrior to the other side. A little extra burn on the thighs. So if you're like, no, thank you, Jamie, I don't want to do that, then just straighten it out, find those shapes, settle in before you transition. But if you're wanting that little extra work, we're going to keep those arms in warrior two. So as you transition into that goddess, Arms reach up. And then as you turn those toes, arms come back, warrior two. We'll move through that each time once more. Goddess pose, warrior two. One more time to the left. And then back to where we started. Warrior two. Straighten that front knee, arms reach up. Warrior two, forearm to thigh, extended side angle. Finding that reverse. Hands come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. 5 breaths, your choice. Finding that movement or stillness. Choosing what you need in the moment. Maybe it's a moment of rest, and that's okay. Welcome to meet in our down dog. Bending the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward, forward fold. Taking the feet a little wider here, bending in the knees nice and deep, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, letting everything hang out. Nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Walking those feet back in if you need to. Inhale, arms reach up. Hands to heart center. Shifting weight to that left foot. Right knee comes up. We're going to step it all the way back, coming into our warrior one, planting that back heel, nice big reach. Straightening that front leg, finding that bend. One more time, lifting up, bending that knee. We're going to add a little movement here. So as we straighten, we're going to start to fold forward, arms fly back. Bending that knee, reaching back up, hands to the sky. Moving through this a couple times here, finding that fold, bending the knee, bringing it back up. 2 more. Last one here. Bringing it back. Hands are going to come to heart, popping up onto those back toes. We're just going to start to shift the weight forward, bringing that knee up towards the chest, and then both feet on the ground. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands to heart. Shifting weight to that. Inhale to lift. Finding that bend. One more time, lifting up. Bending that knee. We'll start to add on here as you straighten that, reaching back up. A couple more times, just like that. One more, finding that fold. Bringing it back, warrior one, and then bringing it down to meet the other. Nice big reach, folding forward. Halfway lift, folding forward. Left steps back, stepping into, coming on up, hands to the sky, and then we're opening it up, warrior two. Settling in for a moment, feeling nice and strong in the feet here. Inhale to lift, warrior two. So we're going to move through that same little sequence of warrior two, goddess, warrior two. So again, hands can come to hips. You can do it the nice and easy, slow way, rotating, settling in, finding the other. If you want that little more challenge in the legs, arms will stay in that warrior two, transitioning into that goddess pose, and then transitioning to warrior two. Trying to keep the hips at that same height as you find these transitions. A little extra challenge for the lower body this morning. Just waking everything up. The coffee hasn't kicked in yet. One more time to the right. And then back to where we began, warrior two. Inhale to lift, warrior two. Finding that extended side angle. Moving through warrior two to that reverse. Bringing it back, warrior two. We're gonna bring hands to heart, turning the toes so that feet are parallel. Hands are gonna come to hips, and we're just finding that fold forward. So you choose where the hands end up. They can come straight down, they can reach through the legs, or grab for the ankles. Just finding a little bit of stretch here. Settling in for a couple breaths. One more breath wherever you're at. We're going to bring hands straight down from the face, kind of below the shoulders. Just find that halfway lift. Spine is nice and long, crown of the head reaching forward. And then just finding that fold. Hands are going to come to hips. We're rising all the way up. Turning those left toes to the front of the mat, warrior two. Hands come down around the foot. We're just going to step that back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale reaches all the way up. Hands to heart. We're going to come back into our tree pose, just as kind of a check-in, seeing how things are feeling from when we did it earlier. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands are going to come to heart. We'll shift weight into that right foot. Left knee comes up. Taking that knee out to the side. Same options here, kickstand, calf, or thigh. Hands can stay at heart. Maybe you grow your branches. Still finding that lift and lengthen through the body, hugging in that right hip. If you want a little extra challenge this round, you can start to look up towards the ceiling, any amount. If you fall out, just find it again. Hands will make our way back to heart, bringing that knee back forward, both feet on the ground. Same thing other side, shifting weight into that left foot. Right knee comes up, taking it out to the side. Finding your version of tree pose here. Settling in for a moment. And then if you want to explore options for the arms, you can. If you want to play with looking up at the ceiling, a little extra challenge, that's an option. And then we'll bring hands back to heart, bringing that knee back forward, both feet on the ground. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands to heart center. And just placing Hand over heart, hand over hand, allowing the eyes to close, the gaze to drift to the floor. Settling back into that nice, easy rhythm of breath. Checking back in with the body and the mind, your intention. Starting to blink the eyes open. Nice big reach, hands to the sky. Folding forward. Bending the knees a lot so you can plant in. Knees go nice and wide. Hips drop all the way back. Settling into child's pose. Just for a couple of breaths here. Just popping up onto the fingertips, creating a little space here in that upper part of the back. Hips are pressing back towards the heels. And we'll flatten the palms back out. Coming up to sit on the heels. We're just going to bring the feet out in front. And then we're going to come all the way down to our backs. Once you're there, hugging the knees in towards the heart. Maybe you find a little movement here and keep it nice and still. Feet are going to plant. So keeping them about hip width distance, heels towards the bum. Hands can come down at your sides. This time, palms down, still with that external rotation of the shoulders. You can also bring your little T-Rex or robot arms into play. So pressing the upper part of the arm down into the mat, fingertips to the sky. We're going to come into our bridge here. So as you inhale, pressing into the upper part of the arm and the bottoms of the feet, and just lifting the hips a little, maybe walking those shoulders up underneath the body any amount, and then pressing the hips up any amount more. We're going to breathe in this shape for a few breaths here. Being mindful of your low back. So if it's starting to feel a little cranky or stuck, just easing out of wherever you're at in that shape. And then just gently lowering the hips back down to the mat. A little sway of the knees side to side, releasing that low back. We're going to come into this bridge shape one more time. So same options. Hands can be at your sides. You can find those little T-Rex arms. Making sure feet are firmly planted and that you're squeezing that imaginary growler of mimosa or coffee between your knees to keep the legs nice and strong here. And then as you're ready, lifting the hips any amount, taking your time to find the depth of this back bend, this little bit of movement that you want. One more breath wherever you're at. Gently bringing those hips back down to the mat. A little bit of sway of the knees side to side. We're going to hug the knees in towards the chest here. Keeping the knees hugged in tight. Arms are going to come out to the sides. You can find a T shape or that cactus arm shape. And then we're just dropping the knees over to the right. Shoulders are melting down towards the ground. allowing the hips and the knees to settle, release down into the mat. Couple more breaths on this side, maybe finding any amount more of that release in the body. Then we'll gently start to bring the knees back to center, pausing there for a moment, and then as you're ready, taking them over to the left. Giving this side the same amount of time and space to settle in. Feeling that release of the shoulders, the weight of the hips and the knees melting down towards the ground. We'll gently start to bring the knees back to center, hugging them in towards the chest. We're going to plant that left foot down on the ground, moving the hands to the back of that right thigh, pressing that foot up towards the sky. Same thing that we started class with. Maybe you walk the hands up the back of the leg any amount, finding the depth of the stretch that feels good to you. And then we'll gently just hug that knee in, bringing that foot down to meet the other. Left knee comes in. Pausing here for a moment, and then moving those hands to the back of the thigh, pressing that foot up towards the sky. You choose the intensity that you want for this hamstring stretch. And then we'll start to hug that knee in. We're bringing the right knee in to meet it. If you want one more little moment of stretch here, you can reach for the bottoms of the feet or the big toes, coming into happy baby. This can be with a little bit of movement. You can keep it nice and easy, just allowing the hips to find that depth of stretch. And then from here, we're going to make our way into our final shape. So just settling back into that kind of taking up space pose, allowing the feet to fall out to the sides, arms to come out to the sides. Settling back into that little moment of stillness and calm. checking with the breath and the body one more time. And just allowing everything to melt down into the mat a little bit. Kind of pushing aside the need to get up and start to get on with the day. Taking a few extra moments to just be still, to be connected with the breath. And then just gently starting to bring your awareness back to the space. Allowing the breath to deepen. Finding those little movements in fingers and toes. Taking your time, rolling to either side, and making your way to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed, hands at heart center. I want to thank you all so much for joining me for a little Saturday morning movement to kickstart the weekend. The light within me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Awesome. Cheers, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing a little Saturday morning yoga with me. Just a couple quick announcements. As you all know, if you feel inclined to donate, the link is on our webpage for the event. And today at noon, we are opening up registration for class at Korea, which would happen next Saturday with Kristen. So that'll be our first class back at Korea. We're super excited. There's only 24 spots. So keep an eye today to grab your spot for that class next weekend. But I hope you all are going to have a lovely Saturday and a lovely weekend. And I'm so grateful that you started your morning here. So thank you, Karen. Thank you, Susan. Good morning. Thank you, Pam. Hello, Abian. So yes, have a lovely Saturday. Thank you all so much for joining me. And I am sure that I will see you soon, either virtually or in person at classes. Cheers, everyone.